Have some stories unfolding in this market today, Tom. Of course, join us at dtitrader.com/telegram and dtitrader.com/YouTube. So I suppose we got to look at risk. See if those slides can move over. And there is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone are responsible for all trading decisions you make. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Now, a couple news. First 3 days, we're back inside that range. 68, 62.50 was the low point. We've seen the S&P futures climb back up. 69.0850 last traded. We're above the open of the year. I didn't think I needed to put that on the slide, but the market made a nice big run. A couple numbers to consider. We talked about some of those numbers on the lower side. Here's one for you, Tom. The midpoint between the fourth quarter low and the first quarter high, 67.84 quarter. Why is that important? Because we opened last night just above that number at 67.8550. Markets are paying attention to numbers, so should we.
Yeah, you know, it's very interesting because you remember yesterday Chuck gave us two numbers to the downside, 67.25 and 66, was it 66.75, something like that, or 66.50? That was a range of support, right, Chuck, yesterday?
Right, plus the 65.25. So actually three numbers, but yes.
Okay, and if you go look at last night's action, we went down last night. Last night we had a full-fledged sell everything. The low last night on the evening, this is what's so extraordinary, was 67.51 last night. And if you look at it, that happened pretty quick after we opened in the night, right? The low?
Yeah, it did. It was after RB1, but really within that first hour. Or yeah, actually, it gets right in the second hour.
I'm going to tell you something. Everybody just hit the skids. You know, I guess these algorithms or whatever said, hey, we're going down. And so what happened was the computers ran wild and people got, or I'm assuming, got out. And then they woke up this morning to find out that in the real world, Europe was moving higher. And, you know, if you go back and retrace it, find out when we got above RB1, if you can. RB1, it's showing what I'm talking about here. I'm looking for RB1 right there. Yeah, we got above it there, but over there, what time was it the second time, the second pass through up there to the right? Yeah. What time was that, Chuck?
Let's see. Looks like a little bit after midnight. About the time that the European markets start to
right. That's what I wanted to point out. Once they came online and people said, hey, the world's not selling, and they started buying, and then you got a breakout bar at looks like, was that 4:30, Chuck, or 4 o'clock? Yeah, right there. And then you get to RB2 and it breaks out also. And I just think that's so interesting because that time of morning, you know, we talked about it yesterday. That time of morning, if you go to, you know, you go and look at it, market was obviously cooling its jets a little bit. And then you get that RB3, it just took off to, you know, took off around the bases. And now we're higher in RB3, right? Is that what I'm reading?
That's what I'm seeing.
So what we're saying, folks, is that this market had about a 4% correction while you were sleeping. And now we're at 69.15. So maybe from California, went out last night, had a steak, went to bed, woke up this morning. I don't think anything about what happened, you know. And that was pretty interesting. Okay. Now let's look at silver also. Got a request from Jennifer to look at silver. It sort of mirrored this. Put silver in there, silver futures. Put silver futures, Chuck. Now notice that silver futures, where's RB1? Circle if they can see it. RB1. And what's the high of that?
That high was about 70.82.
And it went down to a low of what?
63.91.
And then it's rallied, and then it came up, ran into resistance at the low end. Well, about RB3 yesterday, about midpoint of RB3 yesterday, corrected a little bit, and then RB3 today went higher, and silver needs to take out, to keep this trend going, it's got to take out that red bar. What's that high of that red bar?
76.72.
Yeah, 76.72, and it's 75.71. That's the way this thing moved. That's possible. Now let's go look at SLV. SLV. Now SLV trades 24 hours. If you leave your roadmap running all night, I leave mine running. You got a little different picture, but if you don't, then you got a big gap there, and you can see SLV's. Where's SLV right now? Let me check SLV. 69. Okay, 69 on SLV, which is well above the yearly open, right? Okay, and yeah, one is the cash market, Jean Marie, and then you got the silver futures. You already do your analysis off silver futures into SLV. I hardly ever look at SLV except for certain moments, but you already use your analysis silver futures. Okay. So far, so good. The other stock that everybody is, I'm getting a lot of love letters from people. And by the way, I want to thank people for just drop me a line. Monica dropped me a line. She said, Tom, another 20%. Another 20% on Apple. I love how you can find the diamonds in the rough. And I did in this kind of market to find Apple. We sort of went to town on it, didn't we? It hit 280. That was a resistance area this morning, consolidating now about 278. But there's more to play there, because if you go back and look at the yearly open, they're going to defend that 272 area, 272. The last thing before we get to the slides I want to tell you about is that these 2-day expirations, I'm going to talk about it in live trading, but we got so much opportunity with a 2-day expiration. You can sell puts on the ones going up, and you can buy calls on the ones going up if you catch the reference bars. This is probably the most lucrative thing that I've discovered in a long time, and we're gonna, we'll develop it, and you'll see some of those trades in my live trading, because I'm gonna play with it a little bit, okay? And hopefully it's good. I was able to help somebody last night, and just real quick before we go to slides, he got himself in a little bit of trouble with silver futures, and you could tell at that time you didn't know if silver was going to drop another $10 or go up 10. And I showed him how he could take the contracts, like he had a big one, and take 5 small ones and just freeze his account where he could get some thinking time. I've done that before and come out really good over time, especially if you've got time to go in a futures contract. Not a bad thing. Maybe I ought to cover that next Monday night for Futures First, but it gives you a time, because you're sort of in a panic when you see money go out the door if you're long, okay? And I think that's just something that everybody ought to know how to do. Freeze their account. You won't win, you won't lose, but it gives you time to think, okay? And sometimes that's all you need to get back on track, right? when you can think, okay? Yeah, we'll do that Monday. We'll do that Monday. That'll be our lesson, Jonathan. How to freeze your account if you got a position. We'll do that in Futures First Monday night. Look forward to it. All right, so I think we go back to the slides, don't you? In my opinion, we're still bearish until we get above 7,000, but that doesn't mean you can't place selected features long, okay? And we've done that like with Apple, okay? General market, I got to see it above 7,000 to go, hey, February is going to be great. Monday and Friday in the month of February, welcome to Train and Trade. And I want to thank everybody for taking their time and spending it with us every day. Hopefully you walk away with more than you had when you started. This week we had a trade or two in here, so pages to come. We track everything we do in here through our T-Buzz Talk and Trade. Ray Ferguson, I saw that you signed up for T-Buzz Talk and Trade. Thank you. Ray's a longtime customer of DTI. Good golfer. Play golf with him when you come to Mobile. Resources, folks, we're going to be adding to this list, but these are some of the key resources that we can give you that you can study maybe over the weekend. Now, last time we had a big correction, we fell off 6.2% drop, and it took, notice it took less than 30 days. Everybody see that? Typically, the time will be a lot shorter than that, and that can be caused by a lot of things, but I don't know what really precipitated that other than the fact we did it. And that's where Chuck got it. That's where you got your number, right, Chuck? The 65.25 low.
Sorry, Tom, had to get to the mic button. Yes, that is the fourth quarter low, 65.25 on November 21st.
I say that gives everybody a context of what's happened. Took 37 days from the prior high day to get a new high. Doesn't mean it stayed down that whole time, just means it was very tradable, but it was not clear until we got above that when we just said money on the line, let's go. And we did.
Yeah, Tom, worth noting that fourth quarter opened 67.25. So that was a 200-point drop in the market to get to that level. So we had to make that 200 points back and then make back what had been gained earlier in that quarter.
Yeah, so there's quite a rally since that low. So that tells you if this one comes out, which I fully expect it to do, I just sleep better when we're above the yearly open, 69.02. Right now we're 69.12. We're slightly above it. We'll see where we end up today, but I just sleep better about the market when it's above the yearly open. You can be off a little bit on the other stuff, but that yearly open is very key, as you saw in Apple. This weekend, for example, I will go through and find stocks that were below their yearly open in the first 30, 40 days, similar to Apple, and look at those for possible other trades like Apple. Got some time over the weekend to do it, I'll do it. $705 is my number. It's actually 707, but I just rounded down to 705. 7,005. You get higher than that number, then look for me to start pushing a lot of chips into the market. Other than that, it's a sniper type approach, not overloading my boat, making short-term opportunities happen. Great subject today in live trading. I'm doing how to buy at wholesale and sell at retail and live trading. Who's a member of live trading? Let me ask that question. You got a lesson a day, it's worth the whole cost of being there. because this live trading, I think I didn't get 100% of you when I did it to want me to do it the first quarter for nothing. I mean, it's pretty valuable every day, isn't it, to be in that live trading? Goodness gracious. This week you got a scholarship. That's a scholarship maker. Live trading is. It happens between 1:30 and 2. The tapes are great too. Anyway, that's live trading.
All right, Tom, let's get this updated.
I'm ready.
Look at the Dow go back above the 3-day high.
So that tells you right there that this is just another typical correction on the way to the jackpot. I love this algo sheet. Love it. Can't get enough of it.
So right now we got the Dow long, we got Bitcoin short, we got TLT long and futures. Let's see, futures.
We got that in Anchor, don't we?
Yeah, we got a TLT trade going on right now in Anchor, sure do. There's the diamond for the Dow, of course. There's AGQ. The leveraged silver is short. Apple long. Apple was short all last month, and Tom said, don't touch it. This month has gone long, back above the year open. And what Tom?
Yeah, and let me just caution you. People fall in love with, oh, I love this Tesla. I love this Apple. I love this. Okay, I used to do that too. I don't care. The numbers have to tell me that it's time to get paid for using those tickers. And so if you come on and I'm hot on Apple like I am right now, well, you ought to ask the question, well, Tom, where would you turn not so hot? Very simple. It breaks 259. Everybody see that 259.20 right there, that 3-day low? It breaks that during the month of February. You won't hear me talking about Apple anymore. I'll go to something else that's making money. Anyway, Walmart's long, right? Okay. How many people are starting to believe Jonathan's stat about this 3-day algo, how valuable it is to your whole structure of what you're doing? Portfolio management, everything you do. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. I think it's great. He does all the work. It's like pulling up to Jonathan's convenience store. Jonathan, what do you think? Hey, take a look at this. It works, folks. It works. Notice that all the reds that we had yesterday have dissipated into neutrals. Great. Super. That's pretty good stuff, Jonathan. Get you directed in the right way. There's other stocks out there I'll bring into this, okay?
Well, Tom, one of your favorite strategies kicks off this afternoon, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Somebody, the last class I had, I think that everybody here, Tom, which strategy would you do every week? I said the weekend side hustle would be the strategy I do every week. It's the last trade I typically do at the end of each week. I don't know. If you like making money, you got to be a member of Weekend Side Hustle. It's pretty good stuff. It's a pretty simple trade that we've developed. It's what I call a Cadillac approach to making money over the weekend. And do I have any Weekend Side Hustle people in here? Jennifer says she is. Good. John, yeah, I got a bunch. Yep. Buck says, I'm a VIP. All right, Buck. Cindy, perfect. Carrie. Yeah, we'll do this trade this afternoon towards the end of the day. Our formula is pretty solid on this one, and it comes out once a week on Friday afternoon. That's a bargain there. If you're trading, $1,000 on this deal, you're gonna get a scholarship, I think. Okay, that's my thing. Now, Crystal, I can't win with that. You said if you put protected puts on yesterday, how should you lift them? Let me ask y'all a question. I want everybody to give me a yes or no. Did I tell people yesterday to buy this put or buy that put? I'm saying this for example, because I didn't do it. And the reason I didn't do it because I didn't see enough information. I was waiting. I said patience pay. But if I was in puts, what I would do, and it's hard for me to say get out. I would definitely use my 72-hour rule, then exit. The way I would do it. Yeah, so you'll know when I do it because I'll tell you, right, folks? I know thing, but 72 hours as long as I'd stay with the trade like that. Okay, it's too early. Patience will pay. It might pay as early as Monday on a weekend side hustle. All right, John, why don't we play the tape and then we'll come back at the end to do this. Did we get everybody's questions answered? That's the main thing. Did anybody get out of that wheel I put on silver? I'm just curious. Did anybody get filled at that price I put on? I'm just curious who got filled and who didn't. I'm seeing a bunch of yeses and I see a couple no's. I'll explain it today during the wheel time, but this is what I did. I'll just tell you this for those that did it. I went out 7 days because I was refining the wheel a little bit. If I'd have done a 2-day, you would have knocked it out of the park. And that's what I'm going to do. We'll talk about that. Buying wholesale, selling retail today during the wheel. Perfect. Let's play that tune. You got it, Jonathan?
I've got the video queued up. Tom, we'll have a listen. Yep.